Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel on a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This video is squarely focused on the Chadwick and Tom's challenge. Yeah, something that I've completed a little bit late to the game, and this video is really for the benefit of the people that haven't got through it or are thinking about doing the last round, and also for those people that just want to see me open up an awakening gem, because we're going to do that at the end of the video. Obviously, whatever experience and placement you are in the game, whatever rating, there are 4 rounds, and if you're able to get up to round 3 and thinking about getting on round 4, this will really benefit you because we're going to focus on round 4 specifically. But key champions that are really fun and really enjoyable for this are, intense regeners between 1 and 3, and also we've got ones like power control champions like Magic, and Magic has been an absolute godsend when it comes to completing a lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to the mean boss battles against Mr. Thanos. So to give you an idea, this was the team that I used. I think a lot of people will kind of question, well, a few of the champions a bit unsure about. Rich, what are you thinking there? I'm using King Groot as a 6-star, again, very questionable. I really like the champion. The kind of the shrug-offs of the debuff effects can be really effective, especially going up against certain champions that maybe the game wasn't functioning quite well. I have had instances where it hasn't been as smooth of running, but it has been a better month with regards to an update. I don't know if other people will agree with me. I just found that this month, with regards to the new update going live, to say the last week of April was actually pretty solid. It's only been, say, the Tuesday, which was the 1st of May, that it actually felt like the game was a little bit bad. A little bit on the 30th, which was the Monday of April, where I found that I was evading back, and then I was getting caught during the evade. But the AI seems to be more responsive to that, and sometimes with regards to battery life, that can really affect the running of the game. I know a lot of people do experience that as well. Maybe cleaning the screen from time to time and not overusing the device, that is another aspect as well. I do consider doing those things if you feel the game is trolling you. But all that aside, let's talk about the champions that you face off against. First champion up is Stark Spidey. The champion that I used against this was Captain Marvel. I found her really effective to use as well, because she's freight train when it comes to attack, and the buffs that she's been given as a result of the recent update with L2, smashing, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, disappointing you can't bleed this guy, so I didn't use Blade for this one, even though I really would like to. Next up is Iron Man, and to really kind of give you an idea of this, stun immunity is something that's annoying, and arc overload. I was using a bit of a combination here. Sometimes I'd use Morningstar, but also sometimes I would use Blade. I know a lot of people wouldn't opt for that, but hey, I liked and enjoyed that. If you're looking to take away those effects, you could use certain champions that reverse bleed, reverse regeneration even, like your Guillotine. There's stuff with regards to MODOK you can use, Void. There's loads of different champions for that, so do take your pick. When it comes to Gamora, this is the point where obviously bloodletting and using things like Blade. I like using Blade. Didn't particularly like pushing up to the L2, and even though the L2 is unblockable and obviously get out of the way, I preferred the L1. I found that was much more easier to evade, so it was a kind of a case of doing that and making sure that I was stunning, and obviously with Blade you then apply a bleed which then power gains you, which is fantastic. L3 optional, but again pushing to that L2 may not be an option for you. The last 2 is when things get really darn fun. And yeah, I haven't really talked about the kind of how King Groot was kind of a use in any case. I just had him there just in case, really. It's quite strong, got the adrenaline in there, stayed the course, reliable, lots of health. Yeah, I think that's the only reason why. And as well, I could top up the health, which is great. I just put up to the L3. Get more regen. Doesn't really matter if the champion's unawakened, because you still can do regen on the L3 and just keep on topping that up. But I digress. Focusing on Star-Lord's side of things, and as you know, he gets a lot of power. And the only way to kind of sort out your power, and obviously Limber is something that's going to be really annoying, so it's not always about parry. Your intercepts and evades are 2 concepts that are really darn important. But again, I digress. And what I was using was Magic. Magic was fantastic when it comes to just suppressing that power gain, because hey, you got power stealing, power burning, you've got power locking, all the kind of lovely things that makes Magic so effective in this. She's going to be really effective at the end when it comes to Thanos, and we'll be showing you some Thanos footage in a moment. And then finally, this is when it just becomes fun, but also a little bit frustrating. And I was using Morningstar against Groot. And if you don't know or not familiar, if you do the L2 of Morningstar, then you're going to be putting an intense amount of damage, especially if the enemy champion has indeed a load of buffs up. Yes, you can use a champion like Rogue, for example, and that's like steal those buffs. Same thing with regards to Loki, if you fancy it. And obviously you've got that class advantage. But I was having a lot of fun with Morningstar, and I was using Morningstar. Sometimes it would be that I would gain power as a result of abilities to an L3, and I didn't like that at all. I'm all about hitting up that L2 and making sure that there is just an absolute freight train of damage when you're hitting that L2. I'm talking like 10 to 20, even 30,000 damage a time with regards to hitting in that L2 against Groot. So that was really my my team and my process of working. And the other champions I've suggested, you could use a regen champion against certain ones. However, though, a lot of the regen champions seem to be very mutant orientated, so therefore maybe that's not good against the class disadvantage when it comes to the first two, or maybe even three if you're considering taking up against Star-Lord. But either way, this is when it comes into power control. Also, champions that bleed for certain champions for certain things you've got to be prepared for. And at the same time, develop your rosters around that, thinking that you've got to have a certain champion for certain things. And your team of 5 isn't always about that synergy grouping. I know that Caban pushed this, but at the same time, diversification about your roster and what you're taking into battles is vitally darn important. Finally, let's talk about Thanos. Thanos is the big bad boss when it comes to this event. And the main champion that I used was Magic. A lot of people have different champions they would use under the circumstance. I myself felt that Magic did me a solid. There's lots of things going for her. So with regards to like stuff that Thanos gets, he gets heal block when it comes to his special, so don't get hit by a special with regards to Magic, because you won't be able to do anything with Limbo, and Limbo will save your ass. Counter tactics, very important to recognize that at a certain point he is going to become more powerful if you get a load of combos your way. Now you've still got 15 days to complete this questing, so hey, you still have time. But it's a case I would probably say, and I did this, I did one round of the 5 champions and then went over to Thanos and just had a bit of practice. And you can opt for this, doing a little round at a time, so you don't have to be constantly kind of going, oh right, well I failed at this hurdle, so therefore it's game over and locked my champions into this. You can just finish off, go over to Thanos. Yes, that means multiple Thanos fights. But it's good training for you. It is very good training to do that. And I would probably say to do map 3 when it comes to the story quest, or act 3, that's it, act 3, in order to kind of test yourself against the boss. And maybe to into weak champions just to kind of scale it back a little bit with regards to difficulty. But there is a lot going for this champion that you need to watch out for, especially when it comes to enhanced armor up. And I did try out some stuff with Morningstar because I had 5 souls and it wasn't working out for me. I still don't like the way that Morningstar evades out, because it's like a galloping cow and it's very difficult to kind of gauge that with regards to presence and position when you're fighting. Immune to debuff effects, which is not particularly great, so your steamrolling with regards to Blade is not going to be there. And I think, like I said, power gain as well is so strong that Magic seems to be a really strong champion to choose when it comes to suppressing that element of power that the champion is going to get. I had a lot of fun with this, and it was good to have success with this, because sometimes the bosses have been very trollish when it comes to the challenges. So it's very, very good and a very good thing. If you felt that it was a bit difficult, you have to assess how, are you able to get through this. If you're not able to get through this, don't really go for it and waste your units. Or maybe do, like I said, one round of the 5 champions. So just start the game on the challenge, do the 5 champions there, and then go over to the boss and try the boss out. And if you feel that is really difficult, then it may be best for you to say, hey, well, fiddle-dee-dee, I'm going to have to really kind of assess and just try next time there's a challenge, because it may be a bit too difficult for you. And obviously the people that are wailing out there, then yeah, you can just like put all the units in as possible. But it is a case you have to make sure don't get hit, which is not nice when it happens, but yeah, just don't get hit and you'll be absolutely fine. And the final thing to say is try to keep the enemy at an L1 hitting at you, because the L1 for me is a lot easier. I can do both. I can do the L2 and the L1 with regards to evading out of them. I've played against a Thanos enough during my near 3.5 years of playing the game So I'm pretty familiar with regards to like evading out from Thanos. So I'm kind of glad that that was a boss and wasn't like a hugely challenging boss. But for some people that aren't experienced with that, then you've got to get experienced with Thanos. The L1 is a case of just like watching the way he kind of his movements, and as we can see with it rolling at the moment with regards to the battle, just watch his movements, especially with the L2, because that's in a two-parter. The L1's kind of in a two-parter, and they seem very easy to kind of evade out. So hopefully you had fun with this event in any case. And now here comes the moment of truth, the 4-star Awakening Gem. This one in particular, I hope for a Mystic. That would be fantastic. I might use it on my Immortal Iron Fist, which I recently got. Yeah, I did a video of that. Not many people saw that, but I got an Immortal Iron Fist, as that was a rare occurrence. Like, I've not got that in the near 3.5 years of playing. Yeah, very excited about that, and I probably will never get that again. So yeah, I'm all about like, looking to kind of making that a champion within my roster to just like play about with and see, you know, if he's that good. I've not seen any kind of great presence with regards to reviews on him, but maybe he could be quite fun. It's got a little bit. It's similar, really, to the standard Iron Fist stuff. There's too many irons in this, and it is gonna be great. Okay, science. Not that I've got all the science I want, and the last science that I awakened was Quake. So. Fun, eh? I just have to wait for a decent science to come out in Marvel Contest of Champions, which Captain America, Infinity Wars, guess is alright. In any case, thank you very much for watching this video. I've been RichTheMan. If you want to hit that like button, subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, then please do. And make sure to hit notifications on for Marvel Contest of Champions news when it pops up and other videos like it. And yes, as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.